So my wife and I, we had this laundry list of different cities that we were considering moving to. We ended up choosing the Atlanta area, and today I want to talk to you about the 7 biggest reasons that we chose living in the Atlanta area and why I think you should too. Now, number 5 is super underrated, and we might even give you a bonus at the end, so make sure you stick around for the whole video. All right, reason number 1 is the airport. Now, don't get me wrong, most major cities have an international airport, but the Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson Airport is the busiest airport by volume in the entire world, and that's several years running. We had friends all across the country in New York and Florida, Utah, Washington. We've got family out in Europe and Canada as well. So we knew when we moved to a city that we needed to be close to an airport where we could catch direct flights and family and friends could easily come visit us as well. And that's been super convenient to have since we've moved here to the Atlanta area as well. So whether you're looking to travel stateside or you go to Mexico or Europe, that's gonna be much easier here in the Atlanta area than it's gonna be in other cities out in California, Colorado, Texas. The location here in Atlanta combined with how many flights are going into and out of that airport make traveling and visiting others a breeze. Not to mention it's also been ranked as one of the most efficient airports in the world as well. And they just base that metric off how many flights are canceled or run on time. And so that's been super convenient to have since we've moved here. Now, reason number 2 is also the location, but in a little bit of a different sense. Now, Atlanta sits just south of the Appalachian Mountains. So if you are a big mountain person, it is awesome to know that an hour and a half drive, you can be in the mountains hiking, go finding some local swimming holes, or even catching a drive-in movie in the mountains. It has been super awesome to have that. We've taken way more weekend trips up to the North Georgia mountains than we anticipated. And on the flip side, if you're a beach person, you have Savannah and some of these underrated Georgia beaches just about 4 hours away. And if you're willing to travel more than that, you've got some of the best beaches in the country in Florida, out in South Carolina, and those are all within range that you can take a long weekend trip out to Florida or South Carolina. You can enjoy the many beaches that we have to offer here in the Southeast. So that combination of having the mountains and the beaches really not that far away was an awesome factor when we decided to move here to the Atlanta area. Now, reason number 3, and this was super important for us, was the economy. Atlanta has a super strong economy. Obviously, there's a ton of big companies that are headquartered here, from the Home Depot, Coca-Cola, Delta, Chick-fil-A. We knew that there was gonna be a strong economy here in the city for a long time. On top of that, there's a very strong job market here in the Atlanta area. They've been nicknamed the Hollywood of the South for all the movies that are filmed here, the Tech Valley of the South with all the tech jobs, especially in the North Atlanta metro. We knew, especially having kids, that we wanted somewhere where there was gonna be a strong job market for them to grow up and get into, and that has definitely been a factor on why we chose the Atlanta area. Number 4 is the diversity. Now, we knew we wanted to move somewhere that had a strong diversity of different backgrounds and cultures and thinking. We've definitely found that since we've moved here. If you're living in a place for so long that everybody kind of looks the same, sounds the same, has the same ideas, you don't find yourself branching out as much. And since we've moved here, we found ourselves making a lot of new friends who have different ideas than us, and that's helped us expand as well. We've watched our kids kind of go through the school system, and they've made a lot of different friends who have different experiences and cultures. And it's been cool to be able to watch them grow up and have that in their lives as well. Then reason number 5, we ended up moving here to the Atlanta metro area, is the trees. And I know that sounds weird, but the city we were coming from, there were a lot of trees in the city, and we noticed that it helped with our general well-being. You get out of the concrete jungle, you almost feel like the nature is there in the city with you. It doesn't feel so desolate, and we knew that's something that we wanted. So we were looking at all the different cities. We discovered that the metro Atlanta area has almost 50% tree cover throughout the entire metro area. Atlanta's nicknamed the city hidden in a forest, and honestly, that's been one of our favorite things since we've ended up moving here. You can be driving through the city and you have no idea that you're in the middle of one of the biggest metro areas in the United States. It almost feels like you're driving down the country roads with the Georgia pines on either side. It has been super cool to have all those trees in the city of Atlanta itself and branching out through the entire metro area, and it's definitely had an impact on our well-being here in the city. Now, reason number 6 is tied to that. It's the green spaces that are here in the metro area. We've got young kids. We wanted them to be able to get out and stretch their legs, run around, play catch. And there's a ton of that here in the Atlanta area. Now, even just looking in the city of Atlanta, you've got Piedmont Park with the Atlanta Botanical Garden up by Midtown. Just south of that, you have Grant Park with the Atlanta Zoo. Right in the heart of downtown, you've got Centennial Park with the giant fields and water features. And then even a little bit west of downtown, you've got the biggest park in the metro area, Westside Park. It's really cool. They're adding on a few acres of mountain biking trails onto that park. Not really our thing, but we like to have the option for other people to come and enjoy. And then all throughout the metro area, even outside of Atlanta, we've just noticed that there are tons of different parks, playgrounds, baseball fields and stuff for our kids to get out and enjoy the nature. And so that's been really nice to have. Whether you're doing something for just an hour or two after school, or you're making a day of it and going out for a picnic, there are lots of green spaces here throughout the metro Atlanta area. Now, reason number 7 is the weather. If you're anything like us and you're coming from a colder city, you know that people almost sound crazy complaining about how hot it gets in the summer when you know just how bad those harsh winters can be. We decided 1,000 times over that we would trade off hotter summers to get milder winters. And if you're anything like us, then that is definitely a reason to consider the Atlanta area. Now, yes, it does get hot in July and August, but not to the point where we feel we have to stay indoors, hide in the air conditioning, not go outside. We're still outside enjoying all the green spaces and nature that Atlanta has to offer. And then in the winter, we find that we get to be outside much more often. We don't have to bundle up to nearly the extent we used to have to. And it was very clear to us, and still clear to us now, that we would much prefer having hotter summers and mild winters than the other way around. Now, we are gonna give you a little bonus one, but before we get into it, look, we moved here, we've been through that experience, and now as a local real estate agent, I get to help families do the same every single day. So if you're thinking about moving to the Atlanta area, especially the North Atlanta metro, go ahead and reach down with our information in the description. We would love to answer any questions you have or help you with your move to the Atlanta area to make sure it's as smooth as possible. As somebody who's done it ourselves, we know the entire process, what you're gonna go through. So make sure you reach out to us if you are looking to make that move, and we'd be happy to help. Now, our bonus reason number 8, is going to be sports. Now, this isn't a reason to make or break your whole decision, but it is a consideration for a lot of people. We've kind of split it into 2 different factors. Now, number 1, if you're into professional sports, there are lots of options here in the Atlanta area. We come from a hockey city, and so that was really our only option if you were looking for professional sports. And you were spending upwards of $200, $250 a ticket. Here in the Atlanta area, it is so much more affordable. I could take my kids to a professional baseball, basketball, even an NFL football game as low as $30. And especially with the Atlanta Falcons, who are kind of pioneering a cheaper concession prices, we can go get a whole meal for the family at the game without breaking the bank. The Hawks and the Falcons are rated some of the top consumer experiences in their respective leagues every year, and that's something we've definitely enjoyed. Now, college football is definitely a beast down here in the South as well. The Georgia Bulldogs are just about an hour and a half away, so if that's your thing, you have plenty of options to go to those games as well. Now, the second part of that point is youth sports. I grew up playing sports. I knew it was something I wanted for my kids to have the option to do as well, and they've got a ton of options here in the Atlanta metro area. Whether you're looking for baseball, basketball, football, soccer, golf, or any other options, there are lots of different leagues to get into. And from our experience, all of these leagues are well run. You've got great coaches, and it's been a generally positive experience so far. So that's it. That's our entire list. Now, if you found value from this channel, go ahead, do me a favor, hit that like button. That really does help out the channel quite a lot and lets us know that you enjoy this kind of content and want more of it. And if you want more value, we're going to be putting out a ton on this channel. So go ahead and hit subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and we will see you in the next one.